Hey howdy, hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This past year there have been a boatload of games released. Some of these games are hidden gems and others maybe should consider going into witness protection. Today we're going to be ranking the worst games of 2022. And as always, if you find yourself coming back to the channel, go ahead and hit that sub button. If you're new here, hit it anyways. It's free and you can always unsub at any time. But without further ado, let's get into the video. This year there were about 51 games released. Granted, they're not all FPS games and we probably won't be covering all 51 of them that have been released, but we're going to be covering a couple of titles you may have heard of. Again, all of the games in this list are my personal top 5 and none of them are in specific order. But nonetheless, let's get started. Starting off with Postal 4 No Regerts. This game was released on 4/20 of 2022 and to be honest, the game launched like a dead body strapped to a damn catapult. I've always been a somewhat fan of the Postal series. I say somewhat only because my knowledge and playtime with the games and storylines are pretty minor. From what I remember, Postal was all about causing as much goddamn trouble as possible, whether that was pissing on someone's dog or blowing someone's head off after you committed armed breaking and entering. However, Postal 4 released to a fair bit of negativity. Some people would like to accredit it on combating the quote-unquote woke agenda, but all bullshit aside, the game wasn't bad because of the jokes or grotesque humor. It was bad because the game performed and functioned like driving a car while having a brain hemorrhage. It was a crash and burn launch. Constant game crashes, constant bugs, just overall not a lot of people liking the game. Postal 4 is currently sitting at better reviews than I remember seeing at launch, so I'm glad it's getting some tender love and care thrown its way. Next up is Saints Row. A reboot of Saints Row came out in August 23rd of this year, and you know what guys, I predicted this shit. I really predicted it. I remember saying to not hold your breath for the damn game because there was a high probability that it would come out broken and horrible, and I was ridiculed heavy for this. Called everything from a fucking idiot to even a racist. Yeah, I don't know either about that one. And I was right. The game came out and had the most soft, most cringe, most PC story ever in a Saints Row game. The game was just unfinished and had so many fucking issues with performance, graphical bugs, infrastructure issues, and don't get me started on the goddamn co-op for this game.
Wait, there's no store inside. Oh, I'm falling! Oh my god! I did it! I fell off the map!
Constantly falling through the map, desyncing between players, insane amounts of lag. I could go on and on about this. Most websites don't have this game sitting higher than a 5 out of 10, and to be honest, it deserves it. This game, I would say, is the worst of 2022. Moving on, we have the Callisto Protocol. The Callisto Protocol was a very looked forward to game that was released on December 2nd of this year. This game was said to be the cure for our Dead Space itch, an over-the-top, gory, action-filled Dead Space clone with all of the makings to be a Game of the Year recipient. Instead, we received a game that launched like the Challenger space shuttle. Much like the other mounds of dead hippo shit on this list, this game was riddled with game-crashing bugs. The game would freeze, crash. I remember seeing a few people say the game wouldn't even boot. You had frame throttling, etc. And the fact that this game is still $60 fucking warrants nothing less than a lethal injection. Gameplay issues aside, a lot of the negative reviews on Steam complain about the same things. The jump scares are forced, the story is incredibly mid, the boss fights serve no purpose and start with no indication, and finally the continuous use of the same QuickTime events. Did the game get better with patches? Yeah, but is it worth paying the full price? Absolutely not. You know, I said earlier that Saints Row is the worst game of 2022. This game is not only the worst of 2022, but also the worst of any fucking game to ever come out in the 2020s. Rainbow Six Extraction. Good lord, need I say more than this monstrosity of a game? Rainbow Six Extraction came out at the beginning of this year on January 20th. This game was Ubisoft's failed attempt at creating a co-op PvE experience. Ubisoft is at a point in their career where they need to realize that not only do people not care about them anymore, but we are actually sick to damn death of them. They are a useless and undeserving company that year after year release some of the worst damn titles to date. I tried playing this game and I couldn't because the servers are dead, so I had my brother call me Blackout help me with this, and this is what he had to say. Hey Redbeard, longtime viewer, first time scriptwriter. Thanks for asking me my opinions of the colostomy bag experience known as R6 Extraction. What is there not to say about this hunk of burning garbage? It's a PvE experience intended to cash in on the hype of Operation Outbreak from Siege. While the fans stood in front of Ubisoft with mouths open ready to receive the seed of nostalgia and replayability, it turned into a golden thunderstorm of misery, clunkiness, and overall bland game design. The movement system was glitchy and clunky, the health and revive systems were so poorly designed and underexplained. The timed objectives existing, the broke stealth system, only 4 maps but it requires you to clear milestones before unlocking the next one, the difficulty system being so scuffed that even on its lowest it felt like it was at its highest. Do I need to continue? The last update this game got was on May 10th of this year, and it's safe to say that they've completely Casey Anthony'd this game. Even if you have the opportunity to play it for free, you don't want that. In fact, Ubisoft should be paying us to play this visual suppository like they did with their disfigured lab experiment Hyperscape. That's about all I gotta say. Happy New Year's to the mosh pit. Later. You know what? Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, last and very much the least best game on the list, Shadow Warrior 3. As someone who absolutely loves Shadow Warrior 2, I was clenching my cheeks and balling my fists in excitement for Shadow Warrior 3. In my mind, I was thinking, since SW2 was essentially just Yakuza-themed Doom, why wouldn't this be nothing short of a masterpiece? What we got was a linear, uninspired, boring, overhyped mound of deep-fried poodle shit. In comparison to Shadow Warrior 2, the weapon selection was smaller, the movement mechanics were slow and sluggish, and a lot of other poor souls who bought into this game said the commentary was horrible and the common gameplay experience was monotonous. Alongside all of that, the controls felt like jacking off a sleep paralysis demon. What does that mean? I don't know. It has no meaning. Much like this stupid fucking game and much like all of these other stupid fucking games on this list. And speaking of list, that was mine for the absolute worst games of 2022. Again, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I post content like this all of the time right here on YouTube. Happy New Year's from my family to yours, and as always, my name is Redbeard Mortis. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you guys in the next one, but until then, I am fucking out of here. See you guys in 2023.